Guys, pleats are a secret cheat code, and today I'm going to break down why. Neighbors, let's talk. So I've been doing this series on pants, and if you've been following this series, you'll notice that I've been doing broad brushstrokes, basically talking about the main features on a pants and what are the main issues, the obvious things that you should be looking out for when you buy. But today we're going to delve into the details and talk about pleats and why they're a small thing that makes a big difference to the overall look of your outfits, and why you should know more about them before you buy your next pair of pants. So in today's video, I want to cover the function of pleats. What are their purpose? Then I'm going to talk about the different types of pleats they are and their idiosyncrasies, the pros and the cons of those pleats. Then I'm going to talk about something that's very underrated, which is the material of trousers or pants that you buy with pleats and how that affects the pleats. The purpose of pleats is to create room on the trouser. The fabric allows them to open up and create extra room and then close back down to retain the trouser's natural silhouette and shape. They are particularly useful for men who like to use their pockets because the extra fabric creates room and movement, allowing you to stuff your pockets and then close back down when you empty your pockets and the trouser keeps its shape. In one of my recent videos, I spoke of why men need to wear their trousers on their waistline, not on their hip line. One of you viewers kindly left a comment in one of my videos asking, well, what if your hip line is wider than your waistline? Well, my friend, if your body is shaped in this way, then you and pleats need to be friends. You can still wear your trousers on your natural waistline, in between the belly button and your crotch. And then the pleats, given that extra fabric, allows the trousers to drape over your wider hips and then move back down and create that clean silhouette afterwards. This is why you see a lot of women's pants have profound pleats, because obviously women have much broader hips and narrower waists than men in most cases. While you can find some lovely trousers with a traditional waistband with trouser loops, I think pleats look best when they have no trouser loops, they have a clean waistband, and they're worn with suspenders. You can also have side adjusters. Wearing suspenders, the trousers essentially hang off the suspenders. Fabric then drapes naturally southwards. The pleats creating that vertical line, moving the eye down the body, giving you a slender, slim, elegant, tall silhouette. This works particularly well with high-waisted trousers. This is very handy if you are short or you have short legs. It elongates the length of the leg, and it's also useful if you have any tummy issues as well. Let me know if you would find a video useful on how to style yourself if you have a larger midsection, a larger belly, a larger tummy. What other ways you can sort of style around that and mask it off? If that will be useful for you and you're watching this video, please leave me a comment or send me an email, and perhaps I can put together some content to help you guys. So let's talk about the types of pleats. The most common pairs of trousers come with two pleats. The first pleat is in the middle of the pair of trousers. This is longer and runs down the center line of the crease of the trouser. Then you have a second pleat which is towards the pocket. This is usually shorter and has limited functional benefits. Trousers with three pleats usually come bespoke. That's usually at the request of a customer and done by a tailor. They have very minimal, if no, functional benefits at all. This is usually just for style and just to show off and to tell people basically that your trousers are custom made. The next variation is the direction of the pleat. Pleat come and face in two different directions. Back facing or reverse pleats are when the excess material is facing towards the pocket. Front facing pleats are the opposite. That's when the excess material are diverted and facing the fly. By way of tradition, reverse-facing pleats or rear-facing pleats were done by Italian fashion houses and tailors, and the front-facing pleats were more of a British thing. The dominance of Italian retailers in the menswear space has really been the main reason why most of the trousers you'll find in your local menswear store have rear-facing pleats. Reverse-facing pleats are obviously more common, and in my opinion, they look more stylish, they look more elegant because they keep the front part of your trousers much cleaner. But when it comes to functionality and practicality, I think front-facing pleats take the bacon on that one. The other variation is kissing pleats. This is a best of both worlds solution because the fabric is taken in both directions. Now, from a styling point of view, I don't think it's as flattering because it moves the eye across the hip a little bit more. But from a practical point of view, remember that example I mentioned earlier of a gentleman with quite broad hips? Kissing pleats are the best solution because they really open up the upper part of your pants, of your trousers, allowing the fabric to drape over your hips and then move down your waist. So it may not be as elegant as the rear facing or front facing pleat, but it's a good solution if you've got, real practical thick thighs or broad hips. The next and probably the most underrated variation is the material. The material of the trousers makes a huge difference on how the pair of pants look and how they perform. Now, pleats look better in more truer fabrics, more densely woven fabrics. So if it's a really good wool or a densely woven a cotton, the pleat is clean. It makes a clean fold, a clean crease down the trousers, giving you this elegance. It lengthens the leg and it gives the leg athleticism. With fabrics that are a little looser, a little lighter, like linen, or maybe like a lightly woven cotton like you find on chinos, the crease loses its integrity a little bit. It still works functionally and creates room around the top of the trousers, but it loses that clean crease in the trouser, so it's not as elegant. Hence why you find chinos traditionally are more sporting and casual option for men's pants. So guys, that lays the foundation on pleats, giving you a practical guide on what you need to be aware of when you're shopping for pants this winter. Let me know guys in the comments which pleat variation suits you best and what did you find most interesting about some of the insights I've shared in this video. If there's any specific problems that you have around buying pants, leave a comment below. I've really been enjoying this series because I've been able to get into conversation with you guys and answering some of your questions regarding pants. So do go ahead, join the conversation. So remember guys, this is a whole series on buying pants, what you should be aware of when buying pants. So whether you're a short guy, a tall guy, or somewhere in between, I've made a video for you, just like the one that follows this video. So stay tuned, watch it and enjoy. Otherwise, I really appreciate you watching the channel. If you're new, subscribe, join the community, share this video with a friend, and don't forget to smash that like button. I will catch you on the next one. Peace.